Welcome, Taurus, to your July 2025 reading, and thanks for tuning in. Now, Taurus, just before we start, if you would like a mini reading from me, all you have to do is click the thanks button below, nominate your amount, and then in the comment section below, put your question or what you'd like me to focus on, and I will film your video just like I'm doing now, and I will leave you a link to your video in the comment in response to your comment. You'll just be able to click it and it'll take you right there. Now also, if you'd like to help out my channel, I do have an online store, so if you're into crystals or antiques at all, check those out and see if there's any little treasure there for you. And if you don't want to do either of those things, just a thumbs up and a subscription would be amazing as well. Now, let's get into your reading. Now, you start out the energy with the Four of Wands. Now, the Four of Wands is really nice, stable energy. Now, this actually can be the card of marriage, but this is just building a home, a business, something that is stable, secure for yourself, your friends, and your family in the future. So it's a really nice energy here. But right off the bat, I'm noticing something very interesting here, and that is you have 3 sixes. You have the Six of Swords, the Six of Pentacles, and the Six of Wands. Now, I don't believe in coincidences. I think that is pretty amazing there. But, you know, I'm not a numerologist, but when things like that happen, I feel like there is a message here for you. And I think sixes bring about a lot of harmony. And, you know, this can even be like, because you've got Pentacles, Wands, and Swords, I feel like you're in a really good place financially. There is kind of a bit of a give and a take here in terms of your life, your day-to-day life. Things are going well really mentally for you. There's a lot of harmony here as well. There are some decisions perhaps that you've made that were troubling you, and now you are really moving on and moving on to a place that is a lot calmer mentally for you, as well as your inspiration, your spirituality, your desires here. There is a real there's harmony in that area as well. But you know, we're jumping ahead here as we normally do, but to go back to the cards, you have the Seven of Pentacles as well as the Six, which is quite interesting as well, and the Ten of Pentacles too. But to get successive numbers in the same suit, this is really telling me that there is progress here financially for a lot of you. If you have been struggling in any way or concerned about your business or your career, there is progress here. But the Seven of Pentacles also talks about, it has an element of patience about it, but I feel like the fruits of your labor are beginning to show for you. You know, the Seven of Pentacles is right above the Six of Wands, and the Six of Wands is a card of victory. You have been very successful in landing a great job, getting that promotion, doing a great job on a project that you've been working on. This is getting awards and sort of being held to high esteem by those around you. But really nice card as well. So I feel like I said, if you've been putting any effort or energy into your finances, your career, your business, they are really showing, doing well, I feel, in July. I'm so sorry. We're coming into Mercury retrograde. I think it's in mid-July, and it always, Mercury retrograde seems to hit me right before before it actually comes in. I don't know if it's because I'm right at the beginning of my star sign, but yeah, it always does. Now, you've got the King of Wands here. This is nice, powerful energy. The King of Wands can also represent a fire sign in your life. I would normally read this as an Aries, but this can be any star sign, an Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarian. But the King of Wands does talk about you, can often talk about you taking on the role, the attributes of this card. And this card talks about someone that's in a real leadership position. They are able to, they're really good at delegating. They're really good at leading a team. They know what they want and they know how to get it as well. So the King of Wands right beneath the Ace of Wands. Wow, there's some real passion, desire. There could be a new career here for you, for a lot of you, where you will be sort of a leader to others, a mentor to others as well. But the Ace of Wands, I mean, look, that can even talk about the creation of a new business, the creation of a new, if you're into the arts or into a creative field in any way, there is, you're being quite inspired to, yeah, create something wonderful and new here. It can, to some of you, even talk about your spirituality as well. There's almost like a fire being lit underneath you here. But you are asked to put your plans into action when the King of Wands does show up. Now, look, for some of you, this could even be you leaving a situation, and whether it's a relationship, a career, something, or just a situation that you've been going through in your life where that has been difficult or troubling in some way. You're leaving that past behind and you are absolutely heading to calmer waters mentally. I feel if there has been any associated worries or troubles in your life, I feel like this is absolutely, you're leaving it behind. You're taking that energy of the Aries, you're making some lists and you're making a decision to really move on here from a difficult time. Now, that Six of Pentacles that I mentioned before, this is a card of charity. It's a card of giving and reciprocity, almost. Giving of your time, your money, and other people may be giving to you as well. But I feel like this is that card of charity where you might be in a position here where you are able to help others, so you do so. But the Ten of Pentacles, wow, this is a card of such abundance. This is beautiful energy. You know, you've worked really hard. I feel like this can even talk about in terms of a business for a lot of you. You're beginning to show some nice abundance here. But this is, the Ten of Pentacles is, you know, it talks about financial security and just a real joyful contentment in your life. This is really quite big money. It's like you wanting to build a legacy for your family, your kids, your grandkids. This is that kind of wealth that you could potentially be building here. And I mean, look, for some of you, this could even mean an inheritance. And for some of you, you might even be walking away from an inheritance as well. I just got through. But look, this is a general reading, so you take what resonates here. But if there has been any worries to do with your finances, I feel like you're absolutely leaving that behind. Yeah, but the Ten of Pentacles is just such an auspicious card. You know, it's just you, like I said, feeling joyful, being in a place of contentment where you are, security. And you know, some of you may be even using some of this to build a new home here with that Four of Wands. Now let's get some clarifying cards out. Now, did I mention this was the Gilded Tarot? This is by Ciro Marchetti. I have a few decks, different decks of his, and I just love them. They're little works of art. But I will clarify with the Mystical Tarot, which I usually use. This is one of my favorite decks. Okay, I'm going to take these. Look at that. The 10 of Swords came out in that lot. Something is absolutely dead, done, and over with. This could be a career. I mean, the King of Pentacles, this is you showing up in your own reading. This is very, very powerful. I would normally read this card as Taurus, but it can be any earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. But this is, I feel like for some of you, you could be leaving a business behind here. Or leaving a career behind, but you are absolutely making the calls here, making the decisions. You have that, you have two kings here. And look at this, you've got another card that came out in that lot for walking away. Oh my gosh, sorry, I'm gasping. Sorry, the candle's really burning and it affects me. I'm just going to have another sip of tea. Please excuse me. You have another card of leaving a difficult emotional situation behind. And I feel like this is almost, you don't know where it is that you're headed. There is the Moon card showing, and the moon is showing in this deck. And this kind of does say, if you think about the moon, things look completely different by the light of the moon than they do by the light of the sun. And the moon always talks about things that are hidden, things that you can't see clearly, but it doesn't matter. You are absolutely leaving. You're walking down that path, and it leads to the 9 of Cups, you know, that happy, joyful card. Now, you also got in that lot, there was a lot that came out, but this seems to happen when I do clarifying cards. Also, when I do readings, it happens as well. But I absolutely feel like, and look at this, the 6 of Swords, the 6 of Swords in both decks. I mean, there are 78 cards in each of these decks, and for the same messages to be coming out, you are absolutely changing. Definitely, I feel like it could be a career. You could be leaving a tight-knit little team, a little community here as well. The 3 of Pentacles does talk about working in a tight-knit little team. So like I said, for a lot of you, this is either you are leaving your family, you are leaving your job, but you know what? Kaboom, the King of Wands again. So 2 King of Wands, 2 6 of Swords. And not only that, the 2 Kings in itself is quite powerful. I feel like if you are struggling in any way to make a decision to leave or to shift something in your life, the King of Wands does ask you to make plans, make lists, figure out how you're going to do it on paper first, and then go for it. Put that into action. And I feel like once you do that, there's fast change, really fast change. That Knight of Wands is, like I said, racing in where angels kind of fear to tread. You know, there is, again, a caveat with this card is make sure you do think things through. Make those plans first, write it all down, because well, that candle's killing me. I do apologize. I get allergic, and I think the wick is a little bit big in this candle. But that Knight of Wands, such fast moving energy, but you need to plan it out before you go racing in where angels fear to tread. think it through clearly before you do, so no mistakes. You don't make any mistakes along the way, but there is absolutely an ending here. It's more than just, you know, changing a job here as well. I feel like this is the end of an era. Whenever you get the World card, that is like walking through that portal into a new stage, a new phase of your life. You know, if we look back at our lives, there are often points that we can see along our journey where it was like, wow, that was a really pivotal change. That was where my life changed. And these can happen with things like marriage, with things like moving to a new country or moving to a new city. They're like events that happen in our life where we can pinpoint where that was an ending of one era and we're moving on to another. And I really do feel like July could potentially be that for a lot of you. But you have the Empress card here. This is the creation of life. You know, this is the Earth Mother, the Empress. So you could be starting something new, bringing something wonderful into life, whether it is a baby or a wonderful new spiritual career, or not even a spiritual career, just a wonderful new business that you want to start. But I feel like there is something big happening here in July, Major Arcana. But the Empress is such a fortunate card. It is such a powerful card. Even though this is the Earth Mother, this is non-gender specific. It's the energy that I'm talking about. So you're going to be looking good. You're going to be feeling good. This time in your life is really productive, really fertile. It is a great time to begin any new projects. Now, just remember, there is a Mercury retrograde, as I said. I'm not an astrologer, but I always hear astrologers say, read the fine print. If you are starting a new business, make sure you read any contracts or anything that you have like that very, very carefully. But I just love the Empress energy. This is really, the birth of, and what's the word? I'm sorry, it just popped in my brain and then popped straight out again. But it's so fertile with opportunities this time in your life. And this ending is just allowing you to, so much potential there for wonderful, wonderful things happening. Now, let's get our final card out from the Now I Understand Oracle deck. This is by Janine and Lauren McLean, and they always seem to finish it always seems to finish my readings off perfectly. Now, I normally only choose one, but for the last few readings I've done, several have come out, and this is your case here. So, chance. A window of opportunity has presented itself with perfect timing. This is your lucky break. I like that for you, Taurus. And power. You have the strength and drive to shift up a gear, propel forward with gusto. That is absolutely linked with those kings, and in particular the King of Wands here. That is very, very powerful energy in that king. That is a leader, that is driving forward, absolutely exactly relating to that message there. So we'll leave it there, Taurus. Thank you so much for watching and listening. And if you've made it this far, thank you. And if you would like to, again, get a mini reading from me, just leave a donation. Any amount will do. I was giving away free readings to new subscribers, but people weren't coming back and watching them, and I was just wasting my energy. So I'm not going to do that anymore. And I feel like for people, if people want it, they'll pay for it, and then they'll come back and watch it. Check out my online store, and if not, give me a thumbs up and your wonderful subscription. I would love that too. Have a great month, and I hope to see you next month, Taurus. Bye.